We protected our homeland. We fought the fight on foreign soil. We did not fight it in this country. And to me, that's success. That's success.
You know, we go out looking for IEDs, any other suspicious activities, contain them.
Oh, I worry every day. It's a constant worry. It's the other little black cloud.
You still got to make life work. You can't just lay around and wait for him to come back. You still got to move on with your life.
My favorite lethal law, kill the enemy. The enemy does not engage us without paying a price. Good work, stay back for prayer.
They still came over here and served their country, and you know that's more than most people do back home. And they done it right, they done it well. And I'm proud of them all. Never forget these guys.
So tell me what you're going to do when Daddy gets off the airplane.
Run up to him and give him a big hug.
A big hug? How big?
Like, this big.
For the United States of America, the war here in Afghanistan is drawing to a close. Troops are coming home now, hopefully for good this time. For service members, deployment to countries halfway around the world torn by war, both tough and dangerous. They put their lives on the line. And for service members coming home, the challenges faced by them and their families can be just as real as anything they may have faced here in the mountains of Afghanistan. Welcome to FOB Apache, home to the 927th Sapper Engineer Company from Southeast Louisiana. They are the last Louisiana National Guard unit here in Afghanistan, and they are running their final mission. When that is over, they're going to join thousands of their comrades in arms as they travel the long road home. At a time in our history when America came under attack, the best of this country once again stepped forward. 9/11 changed the world as we knew it. Across this country, every branch of our armed forces, all volunteer, called to service in a place few of us have ever been, Afghanistan. Thousands answered the call, swearing an oath to step into harm's way. Regular military, reserve, National Guard. Left behind, mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sons and daughters, to face the challenge of the home front. In Afghanistan, Operation Enduring Freedom targeted the Taliban and Osama bin Laden. Nearly a decade and a half later, bin Laden is dead, as are more than 2,000 American service members, 20,000 more wounded. American-trained Afghan military now takes over the ongoing war. The mission of the 927th nearly complete. The sun sets on the mountains surrounding the village of Kalat, just as it did thousands of years ago when Alexander the Great's empire spread across this desert land. For centuries, the dusty, desolate tribal territory, a much-coveted key to the trade routes between Europe, China, and India. Alexander built a palace right here. You can still see the ruins just beyond the walls of forward operating base Apache. The area still strategic today, just northeast of Kandahar and only miles from the border with Pakistan, Zabul province, one of the hotbeds of Taliban activity. Our Chronicle begins in mid-July. We chopper into FOB Apache to join the 927th Sapper Engineer Company. As America's role with NATO's International Security Assistance Force diminishes drastically, the 927th will not be replaced.
I have members in this unit right now who were deployed underneath the 82nd Airborne back in, golly, 03. So some of the first in, some of the last out, kind of makes a lot of sense.
Captain James Hoover commands the 927th Engineer Company Sapper.
You got holes down there on the inside?
Sapper engineers are combat engineers. those who seek out and destroy IEDs. Improvised explosive devices that have wounded, maimed, and killed so many, military and civilian alike. Their territory, a critical stretch of Afghanistan's Highway 1 South, one of the country's primary thoroughfares. It's a road traveled by coalition forces and pretty much anyone else trying to get through this patch of desert. For the past 9 months, the members of the 927th have run scores of missions along Highway 1, each with its own share of danger.
I have these thoughts where, hey, this could be the chance where I blow up, but it's never happened, so you just get used to it.
I'm not necessarily scared at first, but I've kind of gotten used to it, you know. It's gotten a lot easier as time's going by, and we've done it multiple times.
We take a lot of time in our rehearsals to ensure that we're properly trained and ready to react to any kind of situation. But it does weigh a lot on my mind, even after missions, making sure we're good to go.
In the past year, this group of about 100 guys has grown closer than ever, sharing tight quarters, ever-present danger, good times and bad. They depend on each other to get the job done. It is a unit in every sense of the word, starting at the top.
I'm with them. So I go out on every single mission that goes out the wire. That's not typical.
The heat is brutal, and a lot is happening with the 927th as we join them. Retrograde, the American pullout, is underway.
Trying to get ready to get out of here. So.
After 9 months here, the company is preparing to head back to the States, and no one will be replacing them at FOB Apache, because there won't be any FOB Apache.
Every day we're taking down tents and, you know, seeing units push back to the United States and at the same time steadily decreasing our daily operations or daily interaction with our ANSF partners.
Tent by tent, building by building, the base is torn down right before our eyes. FOB Apache gradually disappears into the desert. The 927th prepares to leave in 2 groups. Within hours, the majority of the company heads back to Kandahar. Their job done. One platoon will stay back to wrap things up and then rejoin the rest for the trip back to Fort Bliss and finally home.
The only thing I think about the last at least 3 weeks, every day at least once, is I just want to go home. I just want to go home. It's a repeat cycle.
First thing you do is I go straight to the chimes. Straight to give me some raw oysters and a Budweiser, probably the first thing I do.
I'm just ready to take it on, like whatever's coming, I'm done with this.
In this particular case, these men will go home and they won't necessarily assimilate exactly the same. This place has changed them, whether some to more degree than others. We're made of different metal.
A year is a long time. Things change. People change. For some, this is their first deployment. So coming home, they really don't know what to expect. Others have been down this long road before. Homecoming is different for each soldier, each time.
There are all these little things that Joe doesn't realize is going to kick in when he gets home, because he's readjusting from that battle mind.
You know, we'll have to take that one day at a time once we get there. But, you know, for now, I think everybody's just looking forward to actually setting foot back in Louisiana. So
it's always on my mind, but until we step on the plane, it's still got a job to do.
What happened is, of course, we'll conduct our 5 Cs, confirm, check, clear, code on, control.
Facing the danger that lies along Highway 1, nothing new. They've made it this far in the deployment. For this initial group, home seems on the horizon.
Now we kind of have an idea of what to expect, how things work. Everybody's working together, so it makes things a lot better, you know?
Well, so far I've managed to bring 10 people here, and I should be able to bring 10 people back. So that's always a good thing, especially as a squad leader. You want to be able to bring all you guys back alive, all the limbs, all the fingers, all that good stuff.
Going home with nobody injured from enemy contact, and we've successfully cleared the routes for this area.
These guys will work all day and into the night, packing up and preparing to pull out. For those they'll never see again, there are goodbyes to be said. And then it's back to the tents. One more night. Only hours remain, and the clock ticks slowly. A good sleep soon, but not tonight.
I've had some extremely vivid dreams the last few weeks, and I'll be in my dreams saying, man, I can't believe I'm finally back doing all these things I want to do, and I'll wake up and I'm still in this tent and there's 30 dudes around me.
But it will be the last time. 0300 comes early. With the roar of engines, the smell of diesel, and the stark, unrelenting headlights, 3 platoons of the 927th prepare to roll to Kandahar. All but the last. One team stays behind. Another night in the desert. Another mission to complete. For the rest?
Yeah, there's a lightness in their hearts, a quickness in their feet. They're definitely ready to get.
There's an old adage in the Army. Hurry up and wait. Seems as if these vehicles will never roll. Everyone waits on the command to move out.
Knowing that, that we're the last unit, here in Afghanistan, and it just, that's kind of one of the things that you'll always be able to say.
But that's the way I look at it. It's pretty much an honor. You know what I mean? Because we are the last ISAF route clearance company in this area.
Just ready to hit it head first.
There's another old saying: saddle up. For these guys, at least for the foreseeable future, their war is over. Nothing left behind. The experience and the memories go with them. As the taillights disappear into the dust and the darkness, a piece of history goes too.
Because I miss him. Oh, I miss him so much.
Straight from the heart, Tara Oob says what every spouse, every family feels. She just wants her soldier home. As we visit with Tara, no one knows just exactly when the 927th will touch down in Baton Rouge, but it's soon. It is deployment number 3 for Tara and Nick. Their son, 4-year-old Cameron, well, he's a little stick of dynamite who can't quite understand yet why Daddy isn't home.
What does he do?
He shoots with guns.
He does?
He showed me the gun.
He did?
Yeah, a minute ago.
Do you miss your dad?
Yeah.
He doesn't understand why I'm going this long, so it's kind of hard to balance it. Keeping him in the loop and letting him know that I'll be coming back soon.
While Nick's been gone, the couple has bought a place out in Maurepas. Quiet, wooded, serene. Nick's only seen pictures. Tara and her sister Samantha work to get it ready for his homecoming. Things have not always been easy for this couple.
Last time I had to learn a little bit the hard way. You have to ease back into things. You can't just come back and try to assume the role. Especially the male role, it's a little hard to get into.
During this deployment, Sister Samantha, well, she's done her best to fill the void.
Killing the cockroaches and the trash and the manly stuff around the house while he's gone, but it's definitely not easy. Not easy.
Any single parent goes through the same thing that I go through, It's just, I'm not a single parent, just temporarily.
While he's away, Nick worries what Tara will read about the conflict, what she might see on the news. He keeps much of what he does to himself.
It's not easy. It's not easy. Lots of tears, often, actually. Lots of tears. How do you get through it? I mean, you can't keep your emotions bottled up.
She's got a good grasp on things. I mean, it still affects her just the same, but she understands a lot more than what she did on the first one or the second one.
Make no mistake, when a service member deploys, the entire family deploys, each with difficult missions to carry out. You met Second Lieutenant Michael Schweitzer in Afghanistan. He has been away from home for the better part of 2 years. First, officers candidate school, then training, and now deployment. His kids have grown.
This month's actually my 2 daughters' birthday, so I know they're wishing I was there for that.
And then goes all the way back to the wood line.
Along with everything else, wife Amanda has handled the building of a new house in Denham Springs that he has never set foot in. But Michael is a soldier, and Amanda is a soldier's wife. Both have learned to roll with the punches.
And this one's going to be different because of coming home to two teenagers. It's definitely, I think, going to be challenging, but I know we can get through it. We can do it.
It is a challenge. Good thing my wife's very patient and resilient, and she's been through it before, and I think we'll get along good, so I think it'll work out.
I think my dimples are gonna like poke a hole in my mouth or something.
Mia Gonzalez cannot stop smiling. The most important person in her life, First Lieutenant Tolliver Washington, is coming home.
I just want to give a special hello to my superstar back at home, Miss Mia Gonzalez. I'll see you soon.
Tolliver has always been there. He's been my friend. You know, he's been my boyfriend, and hopefully one day we'll be more than that. I think we will be.
She's been sustained all these months by her strong faith. Mia understands that transition might be tough, but she wants Tolliver back in her world. All of him.
The whole self, you know, not just his physical presence back here, but getting a routine again. And however that can help, just anything, you know, communication, faith, therapy if needed.
We're civilians on the side. So us going here, just going back to normal life, honestly, for us. I don't think it's going to be a hard transition. I think a lot of guys are ready to get back home.
In the next 90 days, I see us just continuing on with our relationship and hopefully moving forward. Maybe he'll put a ring on it.
It's infinitely harder than people even imagine. And even harder on the guardsmen. The guardsmen got the toughest gig of all.
Reserve and National Guard are citizen soldiers, the heart of their communities, investing a weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, until their unit is called to deploy. And that changes everything. They are family, friends, and neighbors you know.
Where they were, those are empty desks now. You know, at the school, at the fire department, at the sheriff's department, at the wherever, at the grocery store. You know, all of those, that person who used to do that job is not there anymore.
So you get ripped out of a civilian lifestyle, thrown into a full-out military lifestyle, and expected to perform.
Invariably, you leave loved ones behind. Certainly, Sergeant David Thompson did.
Loneliness was a big deal in the beginning, probably like the first couple weeks, a month probably.
Just starting their life together, David and wife Tuesday are separated for the first time.
That's me.
She's a former high school cheerleader and volunteer cheer coach. Tuesday does not stay down for long. Sadie, Bishop, and work would keep her busy enough, but actually both have found ways to pass the time more quickly. Tuesday began redoing their home herself.
I spray painted my kitchen cabinets because they were cream, now they're espresso. I added the hardware yesterday.
Did you?
Yes. I put down the floors in my den.
And David has taken up guitar with a little nudge from Tuesday.
What's up, Branch? Let's see.
Because he had been asking me the whole time, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, nothing, just do me a video. And so send me a video. And so he sent me, "Oh, Christmas tree" on the guitar. So he had been practicing.
As much as I might want to strangle some of these guys sometimes, they're family. They are family. True and true.
When all is said and done, the military really is all about family. The one you deploy with and the one you leave behind.
I've got a new baby, a 3-year-old and a 16-year-old, and those are my girls. And my wife holds down the fort, handles it all.
And she has no concept of time. She says yesterday and tomorrow. That's really all she knows. So, I don't know. He's working and he's coming home soon.
He's just working.
Working? Where's he working? Where at?
At Afghanistan.
In Afghanistan.
Little Ainsley, Ashlyn, and Renee, well, they save a place at the table for Dad. Tea parties just are not the same without him. Until Captain James Hoover gets home, it's the phone that's the lifeline. The time between calls can seem an eternity, fueling a constant daily conflict between faith and fear.
What's your biggest concern?
That he won't come back.
And that's a real concern.
Oh, it's a very real concern.
I mean, it bothers me a little bit, but not a lot, because I know, you know, he'll call and he'll send emails, and we can email him pictures. And so, you know, as long as he's here for graduation and when I get married and all that good stuff, I mean, I'm good.
At home, the Hoovers stay positive, focusing on the good that comes from deployment, what it provides, instead of what it takes away. Renee says the right attitude makes them stronger. Still, though, there's the uncertainty.
We can never get in touch with him while he's deployed.
Is that him?
That's him.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute, get that call.
Mom's being interviewed.
I'm being interviewed.
I'm sorry.
Hey, you remember me?
Hey, sir, how are you? Hey, sweetheart. We just went and got a little bit to eat, and me and First Sergeant headed back to our rooms. I'll let y'all finish up. This place is closing down here in the next 20 minutes, so.
Okay. Tomorrow?
The tomorrows of this deployment are running out. The Hoover family has not been together since last November. Just like everyone else in the 927th, putting the family back together, well, it's going to take some getting used to. For Ashlyn and Ainsley,
I mean, I've taken over a lot with her, so it's kind of just like, kind of have to step back and let him take over. I don't know, it's going to be weird.
I'm the manager of this job here, so when he comes back, he'll be the manager as well. It'll be both of us.
Different people had different experiences here. Some of their experiences here were tempered by things that kept occurring at home while they were here. Some of that is truly the biggest challenge.
I was deployed in 2008 in Afghan and Iraq, and that's when I had my stroke.
a tough road in recent years for Brian Adams and his constant companion, Jobin. But things are about to get a lot better, and soon. His son, Specialist Jason, is coming home with the 927th. Confined to a wheelchair, battling stroke and cancer, Brian has watched his son deploy twice before.
It's just something that I've always wanted to do. After my second deployment, I wanted to come back. Really can't explain it. Just feel like I have to do it.
Much of Jason's gear has already been shipped home, a daily reminder to his dad that soon the two will be reunited. Jason plans to go back to school.
He's got 3 years of college for an occupational therapist. So see, he's got a good heart. He wants to help people.
But the one he wants to help the most is the one that can't wait for him to get home.
So I stay home, help take care of my dad. He had a stroke, left side's paralyzed. So I kind of help out my mom, take care of him.
He said he wants to come back and help you.
Well, he does.
That's what he told me. Said he couldn't wait to come home for you.
I can't wait to see him.
And what'd you say your frog's name is?
Firebutt.
Firebutt. Okay. Whoa!
Lincoln Ward can't wait either. Dad's coming home soon. What better gift could there possibly be? First, Firebutt.
How much do you love your dad?
A lot.
How much?
168 pounds.
168 pounds of love? That's a lot of love.
Things are gonna be so much better around the house.
Why?
Because well, when he's not at the house, everything's chaos.
So Lincoln's, you know, is gonna carry up a frog, Colin, show him his new video game, and I'm just gonna hug him and tell him I missed him.
Dad is Sergeant Alex Ward. Around here, they call him Big A. No, that's really what they call him. And this is Deuce, for obvious reasons. Ward was on his way overseas when Mom went into labor. Dad turned around. He made a run for it.
Luckily, I made it home actually about 45 minutes before he was born, so that was great.
So with me having contractions stopped, and I was induced, and his flight was an hour early, which never happens. He made it.
We had no trouble at all finding the Broussard Street where the Ward family lives. The familiar yellow ribbons already adorning every mailbox. Nothing is ever halfway in the Ward household. In for the penny, in for the pound.
We did our time, we did our duty. Looking forward to get back now and spending time with the family, getting back in the home routine.
He's gonna be my softball coach for the fall, and
and it's going to be happy and exciting because he's always been my batting coach.
I mean, I work a full-time job and I'm on call. I coach softball on the weekends and practice during the week. We do the stuff for the unit.
For the better part of the year, the families of the 927th have become as much a unit as the company in Afghanistan. A sacrifice tough to put into words.
Give me a minute. A lot of people don't take time, they think of themselves and they don't take time out of their own lives to realize what you go through. So the ones who are going through it also, they know what it's like. And for them to all support each other, it's a big deal.
War really can be hell. Families find themselves split on opposite sides of a globe. You can go from foxhole to front door really in just a couple of days, even before the echo of the gunfire dies away.
When we tell these Joes about battle mind, that's the kind of mentality you inherit in this environment, whether you realize it or not.
This young E5, E6 that was a convoy commander that was doing 50, 60, 70 vehicles over several miles long in a hostile environment through different zones where they had to recalibrate radios, time hacks, the whole 9 yards, people shooting at you, don't know what's going to happen, you lost a rig, people dying, and you still got to get the mission done.
It's one of those things. It's rough to be ripped away from your life, especially being in the National Guard, because we're civilians.
Coming home from combat deployment, that's a wonderful thing. Being home after that deployment, well, that can be something else again.
But soldiers don't talk about it.
No, because it's contrary to what we think we're supposed to be. We're supposed to just be able to shoulder it. We all are.
I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
I've lost more soldiers on the back end of a deployment once they get home than I have lost on deployment my whole career.
Welcome to Yellow Ribbon, a nationwide Army National Guard initiative helping soldiers and their families deal with both deployment and reintegration, separation and reunion. Soldiers and their spouses spend a weekend, generally in a nice hotel with just about every resource you can imagine, all in one spot.
Not only do most veterans come back and don't have issues, there's also a sizable minority that come back better. They're stronger than they were before. They learned a whole lot of great skills.
Yet there are those who do need help, all kinds of help.
If we can find ways to mitigate that and to enable the family to be a little bit more resilient and teach them some things and give them some resources maybe that they didn't know they had, well then we can kind of prop them up a little bit.
The program, Strong Bonds, helps couples cope and communicate.
How do we come back in where nothing will ever be the same, and yet there's a new normal, and how do we get back to fit into that new normal?
That new normal, a challenge on many fronts, like getting a job, the pressure of providing for family.
But I'm 37 years old, 17 years in the military. I've never had to write a resume.
So coming here is allowing us to see how to translate that to where that kind of information will stick out and like, wow, okay, so you've had this.
This training session critical to success. These guys have already proven they can handle pressure and responsibility. Civilian employers must be able to understand their skills. Without a job, homecoming can turn to despair, and in a hurry.
I want them to find gainful employment and something they like to do.
That's pretty simple.
Yeah, very simple.
But the truth of the matter is, a growing number of National Guard members struggle with coming home.
And all of a sudden when you're home, loud noises make you nervous. All of a sudden when you're home, you're around a bunch of strangers and it makes you nervous.
Unchecked and unrecognized, the consequences can be disastrous.
I mean, the military historically has been lower than the civilian population for suicide rate, not any longer.
The numbers unfortunately back that up. The suicide rate among veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan doubled from 2004 to 2009. And in the most recent report issued by the Army just this past spring, that rate was highest among members of the National Guard, higher than the full-time soldiers, higher than members of the reserve.
And get them through that and let them see that there's another day tomorrow, and it's probably not as bleak as they may think. then people wrap their arms around them.
More than anything else, Yellow Ribbon programs give Guard members and their families a place to turn, resources to recognize and respond to depression and anxiety before it leads to suicide.
It's to let you know you're not, good Lord, you're so not by yourself. There is a support network that is almost incomparable to any.
It is the reason Yellow Ribbon came to be, because soldiers deploy, men and women, and then, God willing, they come home. The question isn't whether they've changed, but how.
I really was worried about it, like, oh, am I going to be any different? I really don't feel any different. I still have a sense of humor. That's what my dad was worried about. I was like, won't you lose your sense of humor?
There's a lot of other things that are going on in your downtime that you gotta kind of keep light, keep your mood going, knowing you're going to come home, and life's got to be normal again.
But now I'm still the same guy, I feel. I talk to my dad, but Dad doesn't feel like I'm any different. So when I get home, I think it'll just be the same old me.
You want to come down?
Are you the handful?
He's the handful, all right. The pride and joy of Sergeant Sean and Chelsea Langford. From his treehouse perch, Cole hears everything. Right now, he hopes to hear when Dad is coming home.
He's wanting to be in the Army, and he's wanting to throw football, and he's where's Shawnee, and he's in Afghanistan. He's wanting to do everything and be outside all the time.
Oh, he's a handful. Love him to death. Little boy, loves the Army. He's got his uniform. Total handful, wild child.
And he can throw the football. But until Sean gets home, everyone else is just playing backup. Mom tells him
that he's protecting and the freedom. Like, he salutes the flag every time we pass, and he points out the flag to me everywhere we go. And
he's looking at my picture every day, my wife tells me. Got him a little stuffed animal with my picture in it. He sleeps with it every night.
Things are changing rapidly for the Langfords. They, too, are moving into a new house just built. Everything is packed up and ready to move. Sean's coming home to a whole new life.
So I think it'll be kind of like we're both making a new adjustment at the same time, and for Cole as well.
Oh, I feel great about going home.
Let's go.
More than just a little work underway at the end of a quiet gravel road in Central, just outside Baton Rouge. Sergeant Darren Dufour bought this place before he deployed. Mom, Dad, and the family doing some improvements before Darren gets home. Donna Dufour misses her son.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've tried to make him my mama's boy, but he's really not. But he's very independent, very independent.
She's waiting for me to come home. She's ready to have her baby boy back.
Waiting and working while Darren winds up his tour in Afghanistan. He runs the Big Husky, that monster of a truck that's front and center for some of the most dangerous tasks performed by the 927th. High risk, high reward.
Yeah, at first, it was a little nerve-wracking, but you get past it. Just, if it happens, it happens. Yeah. If it don't, it don't.
I mean, he's 23. He's not mine. He belongs to the Lord, and whatever happens to him is going to happen to him, and I just have to have that faith.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. We are. The last mission here in Zabul province.
With the bulk of the 927th Engineer Company on the road back to Kandahar, it falls to 2nd Lieutenant Michael Schweitzer's 2nd Platoon to handle the company's last road-clearing mission. And we'll make that mission with them. 2nd Platoon prepares to clear Highway 1 a final time as they hand that task over to the Afghan National Army.
Just preparing them up for success and hoping they do a good job and sustaining and improving on what we've accomplished over the last 12 years.
It's no secret that the American troops are moving out. So, on its last run, the 2nd Platoon of the 927th must be as vigilant, as prepared as ever. They've done this countless times now. First, the trip to the firing line. Each vehicle is armed. Test fire critical. No soldier wants to find that mounted machine gun doesn't work while he's staring over the barrel at the enemy, an enemy everyone knows is out there.
Hearing gunfire in the distance every day, it affects you in ways that you don't entirely understand.
Every weapon checked, standard operating procedure. Each vehicle topped off with fuel and then lined up ready to roll. This will likely be a 3-day mission, but that largely depends on the weather. Dust can shut things down. If medevac helicopters can't fly, a mission won't roll. 2nd Platoon is ready to go. The date on the calendar may change. The job does not.
We'll neutralize any IED threats, explosive hazards along Highway 1 South. I'll clear every cove and every bridge. Oh. Oh.
We have one singular purpose, and that's to get out of here. That's to make it back. All right, we are done.
The column rolls out of FOB Apache almost immediately into Kalai. It's our first real look at Afghan life, the people going about their daily lives, unfazed by the familiar sight of a military convoy thundering through. No more than they are moved by the ruins of Alexander's palace and another army centuries gone. As empty as the countryside looked from our chopper as we descended into FOB Apache, the landscape just as sparse from the ground. Small concentrations of buildings, shops, businesses, and then scattered mud huts surrounded by never-ending stretches of dust, sand, and mountainous rock. Along the highway, Afghans roam the countryside with small flocks of sheep and goats, caravans of camels. The plodding nature of the convoy, though, makes the expanse seem even larger. Civilian cars, trucks, and three-wheelers called rickshaws zip past a creeping caravan looking for and often finding explosives. Rickshaws, as it turns out, are one of the Taliban's favorite places to plant IEDs that can be remotely detonated. The efficiency of the convoy is amazing. Each bridge, ditch, and culvert checked with sophisticated precision. The big Husky, equipped with robotic arms that position the cameras that allow the operator to scan the sides and underbellies of bridges without having to expose himself to added danger. The armored RG using rollers to detect explosives that might be buried beneath the highway. Slowly, painstakingly, 2nd Platoon makes its way along Highway 1, the initial leg of the mission.
This is Mescal, where the 927th will spend the night. Half of the final mission is now over.
Here, the three elements of the final mission will come together. The 927th Engineers roll with a unit of regular Army infantry to form what is called a CAB-T, a combined arms breaching team. These two units know one another well. Baker Company providing ground protection as the 927th dismounts to look for explosives. In fact, the Army loves it when the 927th hits their base. Get ready for a little taste of the bayou.
Out of Louisiana, I didn't know what I was getting into. Who are these guys with their community coffee, their Zatarans, and their accents and French-sounding names? But they've exceeded the standards and everything.
As the sun goes down on Mescal, comes the sausage, chicken, rice, and who knows what else. Sometimes you just have to make do in the mountains of Afghanistan.
A little taste of home, huh?
Yeah, we try, do the best we can. Little box, little canned stuff, but better than nothing.
Hey, look, when you're halfway around the world, little Tony Sashers, little Zatarans, tastes pretty good, huh?
Yeah, definitely brings home a little bit, definitely a little flavor of the house.
The retrograde underway in Mescal as well. The first thing we notice as we walk the encampment, everybody seems to be cooking out. As we look more closely, we find the wood being used to cook came from structures that have already been torn down.
Hurry! What are you doing?
Nothing's being held back. Everything seems to be coming out of the deep freeze and onto the fire. Chicken, chops, you name it. Nothing saved, nothing going to waste. And out come the dominoes and the cards and the music. Morale seems to jump a few notches when the 927th rolls in. But at the same time,
we trust them with our lives. We follow behind them to find the IEDs,
And there's been other times where we've gotten in binds and they've helped us out above and beyond.
Nightfall brings about the third element of the mission, a unit of the Afghan National Army, one that has an installation of its own just beyond this wall topped with razor ribbon. We are greeted with tea and dates, courtesy and protocol. American commanders work out details of the upcoming mission with their counterparts from across that wall. An Afghan unit will join the CAB-T for the final mission, a changing of the guard as they take over more of the fight.
We have to protect this country from the enemies, as we did before. If ISAF stay in Afghanistan, we welcome them. We're going to fight against insurgency and Taliban. If they pulls out the troops, we have to keep fighting against the Taliban.
If the NATO leave, it's going to be I think it's World War III.
They know about the violence, bloodshed, and death at the hands of ISIS in Iraq and in Syria. Many here in Afghanistan fear something savagely similar once the American troops withdraw. Tito is a linguist and an interpreter working with the American military. He translates for the Afghan populace, conveying their fears of what might happen next when the troops leave.
You came here for a few years, now you're leaving me. So if you leave, and I helped you, and my family helped you, when you leave, I got a bad boys coming back to kill my family, kill me. So it's tough for them right now.
Tito tells me most Afghans don't want the Taliban and embrace the change that America has brought with schools, TV, radio, things they did not have a few years ago.
If American leaves, we have to self-defense and fight the Taliban to not come and fight us. Because now they know that, okay, we don't want to be slaves. We want to be, be free.
The largest concern that we have is their ability to sustain themselves for the duration.
And that's a big part of the last mission of the 927th. Ensure that the Afghan National Army can take the reins without missing a beat and continue to neutralize the Taliban.
We got rickshaw V-beds that are still stationary along the cities. They've all been remote controlled, except for the one at night. I believe Route Duck was the only V-bed we had to go off at night.
Route Duck has been dangerous. Helicopters running surveillance spot heat signatures. Insurgents can be seen clearly planting explosives just after a coalition convoy has passed.
Spotted 2 individuals in the middle of Route Duck. Currently we've got a hot spot, looks like a possible hole.
Gunships in the air watch and confirm the enemy activity.
All right, he's sneaking out to the road. Looks like he's tiptoeing out to the road, sneaking. Now he's down in a hole again. We're going to lead off with Hellfire, follow up with 30 millimeter. Left and right break, I'll call out my gun target line.
And then take immediate action.
Clear to fire, you're clear to fire. Roger, gun. Roger, roll. And fire. Hold on. Sorry. That's fine. Go try to acquire the buddies. And fire. All right, breaking last. Roger, break.
There is an increased sense of danger as the combined unit returns to Highway 1 for the journey back to FOB Apache. You see, there is no better time to plant an explosive device than immediately after the road has been cleared. Not far down the road waits that unit from the Afghan National Army. With bandoleros draped across their shoulders and weapons at the ready, the Afghan soldiers look on as a second mission briefing takes place. The team is complete, and again we roll. An eerie light falls across the convoy as it approaches a bridge traveled constantly by military and civilians. This one requires a full dismount and a rare first-hand look at just how dangerous the job of the 927th really is. No matter how many times they've done all this before, nothing is routine. The infantry unit fans out to cover the engineers. And with the guts of a burglar and the discipline of a soldier, the team searches for explosives. Facing the same danger, and a key member of this team, is Bruno, a keen canine who is highly trained. His nose has located its share of explosives and saved its share of lives.
So right now they're working away from the road, looking for any weapon caches or anything planted outside the road. They're working back towards the road, looking for any IEDs or explosive devices.
2nd Platoon puts eyes on every inch of the ground underneath the bridge and the structure itself. It's an almost daily act of courage that over their 9-month deployment certainly has prevented pain, suffering, and death. How many lives saved? Well, we'll never know. Every crack, culvert, and crevice could be holding an IED. Look at some of the trucks rolling over this bridge, even as soldiers risk life and limb seeking explosives. You'll wonder why some of them don't just keel over. It defies the laws of physics. But for the protection of the convoys, the armored RG fitted with those huge rollers must make one more pass no matter what, even as civilian vehicles roll as if there is no danger at all. But there is an explanation.
The military vehicles, one, they're heavier and they're also wider, so the enemy can actually put out an IED just to target our military vehicles.
In unpredictable surroundings, using every precaution, the bridge is cleared. It is safe. The 927th passes the baton to the Afghan Army. It is a job well done.
It was good for me to kind of cap off that portion of it, get it behind me and say I did it and get home safe.
It's kind of mixed emotions, kind of ready to get home, but this being my 3rd time over here, kind of really gonna miss the place, It's a love-hate thing.
It's a very historical time right now for not only the Army, but for the Louisiana Army National Guard to have a part of our unit closing down Afghanistan. So.
I didn't think this mop would get any bigger the last time. It's enormous. What's going through your mind and your heart right now?
I don't know. I just want to see him.
The sweltering August heat turns this Baton Rouge airport hangar into an oven. But for the families who've come in from all points on the compass, the weather couldn't be better. In fact, it's cool. Like a long-awaited breath of fresh air, a Southwest flight from Fort Bliss, Texas, is bringing the 927th Engineers home.
It says, "Welcome home, Tolliver. Now kiss me."
The atmosphere in this airport hangar feels more like tailgating at a football game.
Yeah. Like within the hour.
I know. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting day. Super exciting.
Getting close.
It's so close.
And how much would it?
We're less than an hour out.
Huh? Who is? Daddy. That's right. Daddy's coming home.
A star-spangled affair. Long days and longer nights, the fear and uncertainty will soon be put behind them. So long FaceTime and Skype. Time for the big hug and some tears. The good kind.
How excited are you?
Really excited. Like really excited. He called us right before they got on the plane and like, hey babe, we're headed out. The wheels are going up, so.
Wheels up. Huh?
Wheels are up.
To cool things off, the airport folks finally cracked the hangar door. It's a perfect kid's eye view of the runway. Word comes, the plane is just minutes out.
I just will be so glad to see his face.
We need to show our appreciation.
And they do. The doors open and the crowd pushes out to, appropriately enough, the yellow ribbon. Excitement jumps a few more notches. And there it is. The plane safely on the ground. A roar goes up from the crowd. 927th is home.
So, successful mission?
Roger, sir, yes, sir.
There you go.
Brought them all back home.
You know, we've, it's been a hardship, but it's been, you know, I'm just so proud of him.
Almost didn't wreck my oldest one. He got tall on me and passed me up.
It's real, he's home.
Is it real, really real yet?
It's real. I can feel him now.
But now I got a house to get to that I haven't seen in a year.
So why don't I get out your way? I'll get out. I'll just get right out. Did it all get done?
It's all done.
Oh, she's huge. She's talking. She's having full conversations. She's got me already wrapped around her finger. I've only been here for about 5 minutes.
With a combined and collective sigh of relief, mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, husbands and wives waste no time packing up and heading out. They are families again, safely and finally reunited. And it's time to go home.
What are you going to do now?
No idea.
Just get ready to get out and just go
Oh,
live.
yeah, definitely. Enjoy America.
That, my friend, is a mouthful.
Cam, slow down. You can't do nothing without me. Cam.
Summer has turned to fall.
What's that? Hold on.
Nick and Cam doing what fathers and sons do in South Louisiana.
Yeah. You gonna catch a fish? Watch it. Hit me in the face.
The 927th is home now. Everyone together again. The Ube family, like so many others, going through just a bit of transition.
He has to adjust to the fact that, it's his wife and his kid, not fellow soldiers. We don't have to scream at the top of our lungs all the time and stuff. So it's just, you got to be patient.
It's just letting me adjust, get back to routine, noises, sounds, driving. Driving's a big thing. Come
I didn't
back.
let him drive for a week.
Yeah.
Things changed for everyone. Nick came home to a new life, a little piece of paradise out in Maurepas.
We've always lived in apartments or, somewhere else that belong to somebody else, and it's nice to have our own stuff.
This is gorgeous out here.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Oh, you should have seen him the first week he was home. Every day he'd come out here, start shooting guns and going looking in the woods for rabbits and everything. So funny. He still does it.
Tara's sister, Sam, and Cam are still close. But with Dad home, she must step back. And that's okay.
I don't have to take out the trash anymore.
That's
Thank you, Nicholas.
Getting used to work, home, family, Nick remains ready to roll on the next storm, the next crisis.
That to me is my chance to give back, my chance to help out my neighbor. And to me, that's the greatest part of the job.
At this moment, though, the need is right here.
It's been awesome. It's been pretty awesome. We missed him so much, so it's been really good that he's home.
And it's time to get to the good stuff, spending precious moments with Dad, fishing.
Where's the our fish at?
I'll put him back.
Fishing?
Mm-hmm.
The big fish?
Yep. He went back in the water. I'll put him in when you send him in the truck.
Nick puts Afghanistan where it belongs now, in the past. The mission these days, making up for lost time, with family, getting to know one another again. It just doesn't get any better than this.
She's incredible. I get a little homecoming every day. She squeals and runs up to the door when I get home from work. So it's awesome.
Company Commander James Hoover may look out of place at Hammond's Lemoyne Academy of Dance, but trust me, he's right at home. In just a few short weeks, he's come from battle to ballet. Now reflecting on the life he just left and the one that lies ahead.
The last year and a half have been just earmarked with change. Everywhere I've different jobs, different people, different experiences.
I feel like we didn't miss a beat.
Really?
I really do.
The cacophony of gunfire and gun engines makes a sometimes sudden, sometimes slow segue to the sweet sound of normal life. The little girl that grew so much while he was gone becomes a little princess this night, right before his eyes. Coming home from deployment can be tough, but it's nothing compared to the thought of ever having to leave again.
I'm coming to the end of my 20-year time frame, but who knows?
This is it.
This is it, by the way, Captain. Yeah, got it. You got it?
Understood, roger that.
Tonight, James and Renee enjoy the dance. Ainsley takes center stage. Military families understand. In an increasingly uncertain world, you must embrace the music of the moment. Our Chronicle now comes full circle, back to July. The 927th Engineer Company stands in a late afternoon formation. Within hours, they'll leave FOB Apache for good. 6 members of this unit receive the Bronze Star, another the Combat Action Badge. The entire company is awarded the Army Commendation Medal.
They've made me and my commander shine on this deployment. It's what we thought they would do. It's what we expected them to do.
But for Louisiana's 927th Sapper Engineers, the end of one road is really just the beginning of another. The next disaster, the next spill, the next storm.
Yeah, the last deployment, we got home, and we weren't even home a month before we got activated for, I believe it was Ike and Gustav. So it's, you're on call. That's what you're there for.
Service and sacrifice. It's the hallmark of the men and women who turn toward danger, the kind that would have most headed the other way.
There is a point when a man enlists in the service that he, well, for all intents and purposes, he grows a backbone. He gets, his life gets injected with a resolve, a steel that allows him to do things that the average person is just not willing to do.
I appreciate them. I would do anything in the world for them. They piss me off a lot of times, but that's kind of my role, that if they ever need anything from me, it don't matter if it's 20 years from now, all I gotta do is call me and I'll be there for them.
No one can really put into words the sacrifice of those who put on a uniform, pick up a weapon, stand a post, and defend our nation. Many of them pay the ultimate price. And for those coming home, the challenges are just as real as any of those they may have faced in the jungles of Vietnam, the deserts of Iraq, or here in the mountains of Afghanistan. They volunteered to travel to battlefronts halfway around the world to protect our freedom. The only question that remains now is what awaits them at the end of the long road home. Reporting from Afghanistan, I'm Heath Allen.